And we can start at the pounding heart of it all with Andrew Wigley. He's the founder of universityphilanthropy.com. It's a platform that provides research looking at giving trends to universities. Andrew, good of you to join us. Let me start first of all with, as it were, the headline-grabbing bit, the hypocrisy, it seems to me, over Cecil Rhodes and Oswald Mosley. Who does the due diligence and who says, Rhodes, yes then, but no statue, Mosley, yes, and yes?
Yeah, and look, I mean, you've summed that up brilliantly. I mean, this is a very thorny topic, right? I mean, the whole area it has its pitfalls, and how you navigate it is very challenging. And the university, of course, would have had its systems in place to have worked out, well, do we accept this money or do we not? But there does feel like there's something a bit off about it, right? I mean, whether it's Madam Tao's 155 million coming into to Linacre, or whether it's the Mosley chair. And I think it's this. If you or I put a fiver into a donation box, we don't expect very much from it. It's, a thank you would be nice, but it's done as an act of altruism. The problem is when University of Oxford goes out fundraising, it's looking for money, and there are clearly conditions which then are expected or are allowed to come with that donation. And in the case of Madam Tao, Oxford would deny this, of course, but they would have had a shopping list when they were starting to identify prospective donors who may make very big donations to the university. And one of those might well have been, we'll rename the university in your honour. And that, it seems to have made a big appeal to Madam Tao, and so it is. £155 million later, Linacre College is being renamed. The same with the Max Mosley gift. The chair, the Mosley chair in physics, well, it feels like there's a transaction here, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like it's necessarily an act of altruism, because they are going to have to name the chair in the honour of the Mosley family. Now, personally, universities have been at this for a long time, and I don't necessarily see a big problem about selling the assets, if you like, the names to different things. Where I think it is a bit more disappointing is the name. Is on the side of the donor. I mean, if you really are interested in making a contribution and a selfless act of philanthropy, you wouldn't necessarily be looking to get some sort of name recognition out of it. And moreover, would £6 million be the best investment in physics at Oxford University? Or could you make a big contribution to the University of Stafford, for example, where you can equally study physics, where the Mosley family have a long family association with the county, and where £6 million would have a very big impact on that university's physics department. So I think for a number of reasons, yeah, I understand why Oxford do this. They've got their shopping list, they go out looking for funding, and they go out looking for different ways to bring money in. They're alert to the risks, but they make the judgment on balance that it's better to rename the Linacre College, the Tao College, so that they can get that £155 million. But the disappointment in a way is in the name of the philanthropists. There are many philanthropists who give, and they don't expect to get name recognition in return. And I think those are the people we should be celebrating, and not necessarily the Mosley families or the Madam Taos of this world.
I mentioned in my introduction the Chinese as well, and that seems to me to absolutely cross a line, both in your sector, the universities, but also in some of our great private schools, where they are quite clearly buying into those schools, and they're buying into our universities, and they do have an agenda. We know that from Huawei, we know that from their international policy. The Privy Council has to say yes or no to a college changing its name. Should not the Privy Council or some other such agency also have the right to say, you're not having that money because it's dodgy, tainted, and it comes with a really bleak purpose?
Well, and certainly what this is showing is that there are issues of governance, not only at the university level, but also in the national interest level. And I think when it comes comes to looking at where the funding comes from, whether it's Vietnam or China, and what do we know about Madame Tao's background? I mean, I haven't been able to find a lot about that, other than that she is, apparently a self-made person who set up an airline in Vietnam. But has that really been sort of explored? What do we know about any family that thrives and makes a lot of money in a communist society like Vietnam? It begs questions, doesn't it? Now, I think, yes, the Privy Council has to do its own due diligence. It cannot just accept the word of Oxford, perhaps, on this occasion, because it opens up so many different, I think, questions about where does influence come in? Clearly, a £155 million gift now is the going rate for at least changing the name of an Oxford college. And we have to take the view, don't we, of whether that's in the national interest or not. And I think that's a perfectly legitimate consideration that the Privy Council should be taking.
OK. Final question on the national interest, and I feel very strongly about this, as folk will hear at 2 o'clock, but I hinted at it in my introduction. It is a way forward if it's done properly. If your aim is to have a low-tax, small-state economy, still with good higher education and great universities, is to say to the great and the good, yes, you can fund higher education, yes, you'll get a big tax rebate for doing it, but don't tell us what to teach. That's a very simple equation that everybody should say hurrah to, isn't it?
Well, I think it is. And I think there are some examples where we wouldn't have made the progress had it not been left to the single-minded focus of some philanthropists. Now, let's take the £600 gorilla in the room. Bill Gates has funded enormous sums of money into malaria research. And guess what? Last month, after 20 years of sort of investment, if you like, in this, we've come up with, or they have come up with, a vaccine for malaria. Now, that's a massive breakthrough. It will save millions of lives. Would that have happened had you left it to a government or to a collection of governments to achieve that? And I think probably not. Because A, he had both the drive, he had the deep pockets to be able to do it, and also, he had the single-mindedness, if you like. Governments, as we know, come and go, even in the same political parties. You have politicians who will replace, their predecessor, and they'll have a different agenda. So it's very difficult to get the same level of focused investment in the way that on occasions, entrepreneurs and philanthropists like Bill Gates can do that. Another example, if I may say, a homegrown philanthropist we should be very proud of. So Chris Hone, very low-profile British hedge fund manager. Hedge fund managers often get the rap, often not considered very well. This one has ploughed £2 billion into various areas of child health research. Now, one of the projects that he focused on was in Zimbabwe. He wanted to eliminate, or to at least try and bring down, the risk of HIV transmission between mums and their newborns. And he targeted across Zimbabwe, mums or women of childbearing age to ensure that they were all on antiretroviral drugs. If they're on an antiretroviral drug, they're less likely to be able to transfer the disease to their newborn. And they reckon, and this is an independent sort of analysis that's been done on this, that they reckon that around 40,000 lives were saved by this very focused investment of about £50 million. That's all it cost. I mean, a lot of money, but in terms of the health benefits of it, it was about £50 million. Very significant return on that investment. Now, had you left it to the government of Zimbabwe, would that have happened? And my guess is no, it would not have happened. The investment would have been dispersed, gone elsewhere, or may not have gone into healthcare at all. So that is a homegrown demonstration of where focused philanthropic investment makes a really big impact and can make all the difference to those mums and their newborns in Zimbabwe.
Informed and balanced start to this important conversation. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this Sunday afternoon. That's Andrew Wigley, the founder of universityphilanthropy.com. Eyes wide open. Yes, take the money, but check it, check it, check it, and never fail to celebrate the good